Let me start with a question. I know that we started talking before you migrated. I know you were really getting ready proactively into the job search. You had a reflection on what the job market is. Can we walk through the process of what was your expectation in terms of job search before you migrated and in the initial phases of migrating here?
That's probably one of the toughest questions, but one of the most important questions. So before I migrated, I had a wonderful rosy picture, a big glamorous office overlooking the entire city in the CBD, you know, a C-suit job with a beautiful suit on, a leather briefcase in hand. That was the image I had. That is what, my qualifications would take me. That I wouldn't say image, it was a perception. And when I landed up here, I was like, it hit me so hard that about a week or so, I just shut off myself completely. I said, I don't know where I have landed up. What have I done to my career? What have I done to myself? I have betrayed my family, and that was the end of the world. That was the actual feeling going on in my mind. And then slowly I got up, got myself to my feet, reconciled with the situation, and I said, okay, I'm at the rock bottom now. I don't have any scope of going on any further. So only thing that I can do is come up. And in the process of coming up, that is how my journey started with you. So when I reached here and I had an insight of the actual job market, which is with your assistance, that is when I realized I had the qualifications, but a lot needed to be done to bridge the gap. That is in terms of connecting with people, that is in terms of getting to know the market, getting to know the jargons that are prevalent here, basically getting to know the entire spectrum of the market, which is totally different and which is really very difficult to fathom till the time you're not into the thick of things like I was. So that's how
And
it
that
was.
Thank you for the honesty. And it's a beautiful reflection that many migrants like yourself will realize only after they migrate. What was going in, because you touch on a very valid part of understanding the full spectrum. Someone might be thinking, okay, I had this perception that, okay, I prepare my CV, I prepare my LinkedIn, and I understand a little bit on the market. And then I come here and having that dream of applying and getting a job. What is that full spectrum that you were talking about where you really didn't expect, but you actually had to face it once you migrated? What was a little bit of things on that full spectrum where you actually needed help with?
So basically, you see, man, my case was very different.
Hmm.
I have a very unique skill set. Along with my skill sets, I have the perfect qualifications. I've got an MBA, I've got a PGMP, I've got a PMP, I have a ProSci certification and a CSN. These are on the qualification side. And as far as the experience side is concerned, I have 21 years of experience as an officer of leading men into battle with me as an army officer. So I didn't lack anything as per me. But how to translate my learning and my experiences into the circumstances, into what the job market in Australia is, that was the biggest challenge for me. I know, like, whenever a job description was there in front of me, I know what is to be done. I know what had to be done and how to do it. But then striking the chord and convincing the people, okay, look, guys, I am the one. Please look at me. Getting them to look at me was even next to impossible. Literally next to impossible. That is the reason why, when we had a discussion, I was ready to settle for 2 levels, 3 levels down to a salary of about $80,000, if I remember the figure correctly, what I told you. That man, I'm willing to go 2 to 3 levels down, even with $80,000 per annum. So that is where I was ready to start with because I needed to enter the system. That's it. After that, I would have made my mark, but entering the system was the key for me and getting noticed. Like back home in India, things are very different. With my qualifications, one resume in the market and people are gunning for you. But here, nobody is willing to see you also because first thing, moment they see, first question is, what's your visa status? Are you a citizen? And in my case, I had to let go of many excellent roles which I was qualified for because I'm not a citizen. That's the major issue. That's in the defense industry. So I just had to let go. So all these coupled together, they made a very strong wall, a fortified. thing within which was the job industry. And to add to my woes, I'm in Adelaide. Jobs are much lesser compared to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth. So all odds were against me, and only thing that was with me was Span and my belief in him.
That's very kind of you to share that. But let's pick up on that the wall that you mentioned about. I understand expectation was the reality hit hard, and I think a lot of migrants will feel that, and that itself will convince you to take us 2 3 steps back and to get your foot in the door, even though you're not connecting in your heart. Now, when we started our coaching process, you mentioned few really important things about how it made you feel, like the realization you had, the things you need to learn, that how you felt like sometimes starting over again as a student. Can you walk me through the process? What kind of realizations you had when you actually started the coaching process with me?
That's you're taking me down the memory lane. Okay, but still, I would love to walk that path. So it started, and we started on a beautiful note. You guys checked my expectations. My expectations were really nice. But then, of course, with the passage of time, the first week went by, and the reality hit me very hard that, okay, the game is not so easy. And the saddest part was I didn't even have a resume with me. And I had already quit my previous job. I didn't know what is AI. I'd heard a lot about ChatGPT, Claude, a lot of things, Gemini. I knew there were some things, but I really didn't know what it was. So then when you and Ruby got together and started, assisting me in realizing my value, penning things down, what I most important thing was the templates that you have made and the sequence in which you go. You start off from scratch, the base, absolute base, and there you build up upon it. So, those templates which you give, filling those templates up. And what I used to do was I would print them out. I would sit down in hours and hours after in the night, and just keep writing on them, keep writing, cutting, writing, cutting, writing. So I had a lot of clarity. I knew which way you wanted to take me, and I was ready to walk along. Like, I was a child in the preschool. Wherever the teacher takes me, I'm going to go with the teacher. She takes me to the swing, I'll go to the swing. She takes me to the classroom, I'll go to the classroom. So I had totally, given up and given up in the sense I had totally left things to you and Ruby. And here I am today. 14 days, I had my resume, which was corrected by you and subsequently by Ruby, plus the prompts which you had given. I was told that my resume in the company which I'm going to join, I had a perfect score of 100. The very first stage out of 164 resumes, my resume was the only one with a perfect score of 100. And, there's nothing hidden. It's a fact. Your prompts are just too good. They're just too good. I've never seen anything like that. And now that I'm exploring more and more, my benchmark is PAN. So anything is there, I say, okay, does PAN have this? Let me compare it. And it's way beyond the benchmark.
Very incredibly kind of you to share that, but it's also, I think, insightful on the way you approached it as a student, letting go of previous identities that doesn't serve you anymore and really committing to the process and having the trust. What's end up happening, like I know we had a chat in conversations around when you get this interview opportunity, and I was able to, like, guide you in a little bit way, but there was a tremendous amount of work you put in understanding the company. What is the dynamics of the company? How does that part help you to really get to where you are? We'll discuss a little bit about the outcome later, but how does that part help in addition to setting up, understanding the applications, the foundations, reaching out? How did the interview coaching process and preparation help you?
The most critical stage, the most critical stage. And that is what, makes or breaks a person. I realize it today now that I'm on the other side of the fence, sitting comfortably and, just looking at properties and selecting which one to shift into in CBD of Perth. So I can proudly say that it's a very, very tricky process. You have to be extremely meticulous. So now, in my case, when I got the interview, for the information of the audience, I would just like to, I won't name the company, but it's in the mining industry in Western Australia, one of the big giants. So I approached, I had the larger picture clear. I understood what it was, what the dynamics were. The macroeconomics was clear to me. Micro, I was zero. And for presenting oneself for such a high position in a industry, you have to have the macro clear, but the micro is more important because micro is the bridge between you and that organization and what it does. It is how much you know about it. You might know what's happening in the environment, but particularly that organization, and of course, along with it, the reflection into your personal values, your personal character. So these things, they count a lot. So I approached Pan and I told him, Pan, look, this is the interview, this is a job description. Help me out. I don't know anything. I'm zero. I just know what the dynamics are in the industry. What 48 hours, I think. Yeah, 48 hours. Like today, I approached Pan within 48 hours. I had a beautiful questionnaire in front of me and with a detailed explanation. I think about 10, 12 questions and all sequenced. If the CEO is asking you this, he's trying to look at this. So this is what you need to study. If he's asking this, so there were all the parameters that any CEO would like to see in a senior manager. What what he would like his manager to do, how he would like his manager to execute the tasks and conduct himself and grow the company. All those were broken down into separate compartments by you, and every compartment had a detailed questionnaire encompassing everything. And I got the questions. I said, okay, Pan has given it to me, eyes closed. I just, I didn't mug them up. I understood what you're trying to tell me. So when the interview happened, I was amazed. The questions which the CEO asked me, I was asked 7 questions. All the questions were present in the questionnaire which Pani had made for me. Every question. The wording was slightly different, but the crux was the same. The answer, this I had the answers with me 10 days before the interview, and I was just comfortably sitting back and rattling out this. But then one very important thing, that Pan you taught me was, and which of course aligned with my own personal values, was to go by the heart. Mind should also be incorporated, but heart should go on. And I just did exactly to that extent. I went up to the CEO and I told him, "Ki, look, I can answer these questions in two ways. One is the mind and one is the heart. What would you prefer?" He said, "I would prefer the heart." And I was actually prepared for that. And when I gave the answers, he was like taken aback. And 15 minutes after the interview, he emailed me and he said, "You're one of the strongest contenders for the position." And that was the moment I knew if a CEO is emailing me, I knew I had the job. So the preparation for the interview is the most important thing. And the way I was enabled by Pan is unparalleled. I couldn't have asked for more, and Pan couldn't have given me anything more than that. Only thing he could have given, he would be sitting in front of me interviewing me. And of course, he did offer me a few practices also, one or practice that he wanted to go over, but I did not, I had my own agenda with me. I wanted to go it as per my way. So that's how I went ahead with it and I succeeded.
Beautiful. What does that heart-led approach led you to? This is the biggest part of our conversation today.
Okay.
This is like, I think, for any migrant who will listen to this, who might come to me or come across to this video, will also might see this part sometimes unbelievable. Maybe they might think, is it really true that this
Okay.
transformation can happen? Because this is the golden part of it, right? Because of course, other people might have doubts about industry. What if it doesn't go through? But I want you to say, what did you really achieve in terms of the barriers you had? No local experience, salary, potential possibility for your career and your family. What actually happened?
I was settling in for $80,000 and lower middle rung in the industry. And I ended up being one of, I wouldn't say in the top slot, yeah, but somewhere around the top in my company with a package of about quarter of a million, $150,000 plus super. And of course, other perks are there, which I'm not counting. And the quantum of leave is phenomenal. It's 7 weeks of leave altogether in a financial year, plus 5 weeks of leave and 2 weeks of paid closed holidays during Christmas. In fact, prior to the interview, I was just reading it out to Pan, the offer letter which was sent to me. So that's what I achieved. And my achievement is good. I'm satisfied. I'm contented. I'm a contented man. And only thing that has led to my being contented was, I told you in the beginning, I was at the rock bottom. I had got nowhere to go. I could only come up. And when I was at the rock bottom, there was on, apart from my family, there was another guy who stood there with me, and that is Pan. So when I was down, he was there. And today, when I am at the highest point, but I'm not yet at the highest, it's just the beginning. I'm holding his hand, I'm taking him along with me. He doesn't go anywhere, he stays with me.
myself. What is your message to someone else who's listening to this?
My biggest message would be if you've decided to come, just come. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your mentor. If Pan is being your mentor, have faith on him. I had blind faith on him. And it's not that this job, I have got it, everything is secured, I'll be joining shortly. This is the honeymoon period for me. Apart from this, I've got three more interviews lined up and with and quite senior positions and salaries all $150,000 plus. So I attribute my success to a lot of factors. One is the biggest thing is I had faith in myself. I had faith in my mentor. Third thing is not in the or the order in which I'm giving out is your family. Good, bad, ugly, your family has been with you all throughout. Honor the family. Your parents, spouse, kids who've been a part of your journey, you know, cherish the moments with them. They are your strongest pillars. And lastly, have that determination and have the will to do it. If you've told yourself, I will do it, so just go ahead and do it. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. You have a good mentor, follow the system. First, understand the system, understand the methodology, rationalize it, and then follow it. And trust me, you will not go wrong.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Sudeep. I'm really, really happy for you, for your success, your life, and also the possibilities for your family. This is only the start. Thank you so much, and I wish you
Thank you, Pat.
all the very best.
Thanks, Pan. Thanks for standing by me. Thank you so much.